first fight, and the exciting thing is there's still a lot of work to be done with Eddie. So just take a break now and enjoy time with the family, quality time with my kids, and rise up here and make a decision what's next.
Did you enjoy the back and forth nature of the fight?
I loved it. 24 rounds with Derek. He's a beast, he's a warrior. And he always comes and gives a war. And I'm just happy he's a lot more excited than the first fight.
Did he ever have you hurt in there?
So I can't really hear you. What was that? I can't really hear you because he stung me in this side. And you can see it's a bit smaller, so there was one thing back.
But you never felt like he was in?
I feel like it was going to be out of there, but I felt a few punches there, of course.
And then for you, Eddie, yourself, the fight more than delivered, the atmosphere was absolutely electric. You would actually think that Derek was in his hometown, really, would you?
Yeah, I just think that with Derek, you know what you're going to get, and I think when fighters always talk about going out on their shield, he came out in the 12th round to try and win the fight by knockout, full well knowing that he could get carried out. But he's, a lot of fighters say, "Oh, I don't care if I get knocked out trying to win." Doing it is different, especially when you're already hurt, and that's why people love him. But I tell you, it was a great performance from Joseph, and he needed to be that good. And I tell you, he needed to be as conditioned as he was, because it was a grueling fight, and if he wasn't fit, he would have folded down the straight, because Derek makes you do that. And I was really impressed by the performance, but very impressed by the conditioning, because he's obviously worked very hard, because it was a grueling fight, and it was a big win for him, because you need to win well, and you need to win in exciting fashion. And I thought it was good to see some spite from Joseph Parker, letting his hands go with bad intentions, because I feel like he hasn't had the confidence in the ring. And tonight we saw a different kind of Joseph Parker throwing with bad intentions.
Were you concerned for Derek at all in there? Because there were moments where his eyes looked like he was in a different place for a few rounds, maybe from the 4th round onward. He was just...
I think, Dave Caldwell knows what he's doing. I mean, there was one stage where every time he got hurt, obviously, he wasn't very good at hiding it. He'd go straight into the neutral corner and just try and pot shot Joe. But Howard Foster actually was ready to jump in, and he turned to him during the exchange and said, "Don't you dare." Do you know what I mean?
And then he opened up.
Yeah, he did, yeah. But it was like every time he looked like he was going to get stopped, he let 5 or 6 go. So I felt at one side, I said to Dave Caldwell, "Did you think about pulling him out?" Because after the 3rd knockdown, I thought he may have a word with him. But it's very difficult to have that conversation with Derek, to be honest with you.
Joe, you seem like reinvigorated there. You seem to have a hunger back. I mean, what has brought that back in you?
Just, I think like I said before, I needed more time with Andy. The first fight was a short time. I think you can see with a longer time and more time together, you can see the improvements. And I think the next game we'll see keep working on it, keep improving, keep better.
The world titles are obviously tied up for a while now with possible undisputed fights and everything next year. But what's your aim with the 2 losses on your record? Would it be to go out and get revenge for them if those opponents are available late next year?
What's next?
Yeah, I mean, look, we'll speak to Dave and Andy, obviously, and for me, I think, like you say, no one's going to get a world title shot till later in the year, and he's boxed twice, once in May, once in December. Nice to stay active. I'd like to see him fight in New Zealand or Australia. I mean, there's so many fights he could have. You've got Herbovic in a final eliminator, tough fight, but gives you the key to the world title and a big split with the IBF. You've got Andy Ruiz rematch. You've got Deontay Wilder. Dillian White after he knocks out Tyson Fury. We'll have to see. I think he's in a great position, because it's one thing winning, but it's winning well in exciting fights. That's the difference. So Joseph Parker won tonight and makes people want to watch him again. So we'll see what Mr. Higgins says, and I like the idea of, if you want to stay active and fight at home, I don't know. I mean,
First you need to get home.
Yeah, true. That's a good idea. When will you get home?
Joe, can you get a reaction to the scorecards? Because 2 are very close. If you took 1 or 2 knockdowns, then Derek might have hit your points.
Listen, I knew after the fight that I won, but the judges did their job, I'm sure. What was the scores?
Well, I mean, 117, 111, 116, 112, 114, 112.
No, well, 115, 111, 115, 10, 114, 112.
I mean, 114, 112 was a...
Is that even possible to win the 3 knockdowns to draw?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard there, but I think
My views about the officials
Yeah.
are well canvassed the last few years.
Yeah.
It's just disappointing.
But it was the thing about the officials is we couldn't have New Zealand or Australian judge come here because of the mandatory hotel and everything when you return, and the lottery to get back into the country. So we could have got a European judge, or but we said no. The British Boxing Board, they are the best. They're the best, and so we trust them. And listen.
Yeah, we could have claimed breach of contract, but instead we thought no, we'll give the benefit of the doubt to NBC.
very, very
Andy, you've obviously worked with Fury and Joe there for a while. If both in their recent fights have been more exciting, is that something you wanted to help them bring out themselves? Very different guys, obviously, but
It's all about Joe. It's just about being consistent, isn't it? And being going for knockouts, heavyweight boxing, being spiteful. Joe just followed it, like he followed the instructions perfectly in the fight, did exactly what we did in the gym. But there were still mistakes and there's still lots to improve on. That's exciting. There's only, I would say, we're about 50% in our journey. There's still a lot more to come.
do you feel reborn, Joe? Do you feel kind of a reborn in the second half of your new career?
It's what I needed, yeah, and I'm a lot more excited about what's to come.
Joe, I know you felt a lot of pressure coming into this one. You said yesterday it was felt like make or break for you. What's the feeling like now then?
I'm happy. Christmas present. Now I can just relax and spend time with my family. They're here, my wife and my kids. Very happy going into Christmas and New Year's.
Eddie, what would your message be to Derek now? Obviously, had a conversation with Dave after the fight, and he can't really say anything in terms of all these retirement talks with Derek. You know, he's a fan favourite.
Yeah, it's too early. I mean, the first thing he said to me was, "Well, in the ring, did you enjoy that?"
Yeah.
That was one thing. And then when I saw him out there, he said, "Can I go again in the spring?" I mean, he doesn't know anything else. The problem is he's not regressing. So he had a good camp. He's not getting hurt in sparring. You know, you can't say his punch resistance has gone because he went 12 rounds, took the kitchen sink, and he's getting beat by elite heavyweights. So on one hand, I understand the argument to say you're 36, you're taking punishment, you've got money, you've had great nights, enough's enough. But on the other hand, I also understand the fact that he loves to fight, he feels like he's fighting well. And if you're not an elite heavyweight, he will beat you. No question about it. He's a nightmare to fight. I mean, he just...
Well, what about like, even though he lost, his reputation grew.
He did. He's gonna...
Why don't you give him nice 4 or 5 fights where he's not an underdog?
Yeah, because he doesn't really... The problem is as well, he wants those big nights, do you know what I mean? He's like, and the problem is...
The speakers, no one disrespect David Price, Sean.
Yeah. But he wins, he beats those guys, you know, but he wants... And every time, if you look at his 11 defeats, you know, he's lost twice to Josie Parker, twice to Dillian White,
His record's crazy.
twice to Tyson Fury. That's 6 defeats from 3 fights. He got robbed against Helenius in Finland, probably should have got the decision against Pulev. A bad performance against Caballero, lost to Alexander Usyk, Vitaly Klitschko. I mean, like I'm saying, if you're not an elite heavyweight, he will beat you. And if he didn't perform like that tonight, and if he wasn't as fit as he was, he would have got beaten tonight. That's why you've got to be on the top of your game to beat him.
Is this the best you've ever seen Joseph Parker?
Sorry?
Is this the best you've ever seen?
I think so. You know, because I think even when he fought AJ, he didn't have that kind of belief. You know, you've got to believe in yourself. You look at, you know, I hate to say it, but Tyson Fury is probably the best example of that in the division. Someone that truly believes in his ability in himself. And now Joseph's believing in himself with that confidence. He's a much better fighter and a more spiteful fighter. And you know, I think if you don't have the confidence in the division, in this division, it's a tough, even tougher sport.
Joe, what do you want next for 2022?
I just want to keep busy. Just keep fighting.
Joe, there was a moment, I'm not sure which round it was, but it looked like a bit of a below the belt shot from Chisora. You kind of waited a second, expected the ref to come in, and Chisora took that as an opportunity to go for broke at that time.
Just felt like blowing. And you keep going. So I had to cover up and fight later.
You did have a problem with it.
Last question, guys.
Joe, can we see you facing Bullet?
He doesn't box anymore, does he? Isn't he doing that other thing? The other
The triangle.
Triangle.
Yeah.
Maybe. That's one.
Yeah, go ahead.
First of all, I'd just like to say a massive congratulations. We spoke the other day, you spoke about Spike. We saw that tonight. An absolutely fantastic performance. You brought the heat to this match. You two seem to work really well together as a team. Joel, I know you said you're going back home to your family, you're going to take time out. How is that relationship going to stay stable moving forward for future fights if you're to and from New Zealand?
Stay here.
You're here? Okay.
Can't get home. We can't get back home.
Right, okay. Until further notice.
You need to win an MIQ lottery, so we stuck up here till the government regulations change.
Well, then that's good for us because then we've got you for longer. Congratulations.
Thank you.
But unfortunately, you've got Higgins as well. Well done.